It's no secret that breaking records can be an easy way to make yourself stand out among the competition and to get people in the gates. In this video, we'll look at the theme park chains around the world and highlight each chain's tallest and fastest coaster. Going alphabetically, let's start with Compagnie des Alpes, tallest, Totatis at Parc Asterix, 167.3 feet tall. This was a park that was already pretty notable when this coaster opened in 2023, but even more people wanted to visit Parc Asterix after this coaster was put in. It's an intimate launch coaster. From the looks of it, and from what many have said, this is one of Europe's premier roller coasters, and it has a couple of high moments, including the spike and the top hat. It's a well-rounded coaster and a wonderful addition to this French theme park, and for sure not the only intimate launch coaster we will have on this list. As for their fastest coaster, it's Conde at Walibi, Belgium, 70.2 miles an hour. I was surprised to find that this coaster is by technicality 3 feet shorter than Totatis. This coaster also has a very varied layout, but a lot of airtime moments to go around. If you like negative G-forces, you'll really enjoy this coaster. And it's also got a decent length at almost 4,000 feet of track. Herschend recently became much more of a real threat in the theme park industry, at least threat for the rest of the chains out there, as they more than doubled the size of their chain here in the United States this year. And with that being said as a preface, their tallest and fastest coaster is the same coaster, and it's in one of the parks that they acquired. That, of course, would be none other than Phantom's Revenge at Kennywood, a coaster that has a top drop of 228 feet and a top speed of 85 miles an hour. This is an interesting case where terrain plays a big factor. The 228 feet comes from the second drop of this coaster, but the coaster's initial height is about 160 feet. For the sake of this video, when comparing height versus drop, I'm going to take the bigger one. And of course, you reach that top speed at the base of that drop, 85 miles an hour. Simply put, this is one of the elite hypercoasters in the United States, and a must-do when you're in Pennsylvania. Merlin's tallest coaster is Hyperia at Fort Park with a height of 236 feet. This mock hypercoaster opened last year in 2024 and is one of the elite coasters in all of Europe. The ride time is on the shorter side, but the elements it has are very unique. And it definitely has height on its side. Now this is tied for first for the fastest coaster in Merlin Entertainment's chain, with a top speed of 80 miles an hour. It's tied with Stealth in the same park. So while Fort Park doesn't have nearly the same level of immersive theming as a lot of other European theme parks, it's certainly true that it is one of the better parks in all Europe for roller coasters, as evidenced by Hyperia and Stealth. Moral Experiences only has a couple parks, but their tallest coaster is Turbo Track, located at Ferrari World with a height of 210 feet. This launch coaster is extremely short, but for what it has, it's a rush. Then, of course, their fastest coaster is Formula Rossa in the same park, with a top speed of 149.1 miles an hour. As of this recording, the world's fastest coaster. For the record, you will not find Falcon's Flight on this list, even though this will be the world's tallest and fastest coaster because that ride hasn't opened yet. Formula Rossa is another intimate launch coaster. Unlike Turbo Track and many other extreme launch coasters from Intamin like Stealth at Fort Park, this coaster actually has a pretty long layout, and I don't think it gets enough credit for its 6,804 foot long course. That's pretty impressive. But at the end of the day, while the ride time is a plus, the speed and launch are still the highlight of this coaster. Parques Reunidos' tallest and fastest coaster is Ice Speed at Mirabilandia with a height of 180.4 feet and a speed of 68.4 miles per hour. I know you're going to be shocked to hear this, but this is yet again an intimate launch coaster. This one is quite a bit older than a lot of the other ones though, being built in the same year that my car was in 2009. The biggest question here is the smoothness and the restraints. There's been some discussion about both, but the layout looks pretty solid. The Six Flags Entertainment Corporation is all about the impressive roller coasters. Among the most impressive is Top Thrill 2 at Cedar Point, which is both their tallest and fastest, with a top height of 420 feet and a speed of 120 miles an hour. I think we can all agree in hoping that this coaster runs more reliably in the future after a very rough opening year. Because not only is it tall and fast, but this renovation of the old Top Thrill dragster looks excellent. In short, one of the wildest coasters at a park that has no shortage of them. Let's go to Studio 100 next, formerly known as the Plopsa Group, for Expedition G-Force. This is their tallest and fastest coaster, topping out at 173.9 feet, with a speed of 74.6 miles an hour. As a side note, its park, Holiday Park, was renamed to Plopsaland Deutschland for the 2025 season, and yeah, I probably totally butchered that pronunciation, so I apologize. Expedition G-Force is major plot twist built by Intamin Amusement Rides. This is one of Europe's classic airtime machines. It'll be celebrating its 25th anniversary next season. In the United States again, for United Parks and Resorts, their tallest coaster is Apollo's Cherry at Busch Gardens Williamsburg with a drop of 210 feet. This was actually the first B&M hypercoaster ever built, originally opening back in 1999. And while the ride doesn't necessarily compare to some of the newer models, it's still one of the best coasters in Virginia. As for fastest, that honor belongs to Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens Tampa with a top speed of 76 miles per hour. And because this is a Rocky Mountain construction coaster we're talking about, it keeps that speed, or at least a very high speed, for the majority of the layout. This has an argument as RMC's best coaster, Florida's best coaster, and the best coaster in the entire United Parks chain. Universal Parks and Resorts focuses more on theming than it does roller coasters, but they still have built some pretty impressive ones. For the sake of this video, let's highlight Velocicoaster at Universal Islands of Adventure with a top height of 155 feet and a speed of 70 miles an hour. Ever since this coaster opened, it has been towards the top of my bucket list, combining theming, thrills, and elements. This coaster also completely changed the skyline of Islands of Adventure forever. That top hat and the Mosasaurus roll are awesome elements located right there on the water. Like Iron Gwazi, this has an argument to be the best coaster within its own chain. Second to last, we have Village Roadshow over in Australia. The tallest and fastest coaster from them is DC Rivals Hypercoaster with a height of 202 feet and a speed of 71.5 miles an hour. To be frank, this Mach hypercoaster looks absolutely incredible, and Mach Rides has done a lot of really good things, in particular Stardust Racers at Epic Universe that opened this year at Universal, but this is certainly one of the best coasters they've ever built. That impressive height and speed is made all the crazier if you ride in the special backwards facing seat that's an upcharge attraction. I can imagine that experience is not only very disorienting, but absolutely insane. Like Universal, Disney leans heavily into the thematic side of the theme park experience, rather than the thrill ride side. Unlike Universal though, I would say Disney is almost a little afraid to build a big thrill coaster. So with that being said, their tallest coaster is Expedition Everest at Disney's Animal Kingdom with a height of 112 feet. Now some of you might be saying, wait, hang on a minute, I thought this coaster was just shy of 200 feet, and while the structure is, the track most certainly is not. Despite that, this is still one of the better coasters Disney has ever built. The theming is top notch. And while it walks the line at times between being a family coaster and a thrill coaster, no matter what way you land on that, it's still a must-do attraction at Disney World. In the same resort is their fastest coaster, Tron Light Cycle Run, with a top speed of 59.3 miles per hour. Technically, this is a tie though, because the other Tron coaster located at Shanghai Disneyland has the same exact top speed. This motorbike launch coaster isn't actually as intense as it might look, but the lighting is absolutely amazing at night, and the launch looks to have some decent kick. I love the theming that Disney puts into their parks because I love a theme park experience, not just rides necessarily, but I wish they built more thrill coasters, I really do. So there you have it, the tallest and fastest coaster within every theme park chain. Let me know what you think of these coasters down below and how you would rank them if you've ridden any of them. I appreciate you all for watching and bearing with me as I now navigate a college schedule. I'll do my best of getting videos out on a regular basis, but a little bit of grace on your part would be much appreciated as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.